Right, this video is going to help you rewriting from slope-intercept form into standard form. So slope-intercept form is y equals mx plus b, and a reminder that our m is the slope. This is rise over run, and the b value is our y-intercept, 0, b, right? So the x value is always a 0, and the y value is whatever number is in that b position. This is how we write most of our answers. If a question asks you to write the equation of a line, if it doesn't say what form to use, we default to slope-intercept form. However, some questions are going to say, please write your answer in standard form. Standard form is ax plus by equals c. In this form, you do not know the slope. There is no m in this formula, and you do not know the y-intercept. There's no lowercase b in this formula. There's a capital B, but that's not the same thing. So in standard form, this is useful for different reasons, not for graphing reasons. So some questions might ask you write your answer in standard form. There are two rules that you need to know for standard form. The first rule is that the number that's going to be in that A position must be a positive number. If it's not positive, we're going to make it positive, and I'll show you how in a second. The other thing that has to be true is that A, B, and C must be integers. In case you don't remember what an integer is, it's a number that basically falls on our number line. So picture a blank number line. You have the numbers 0, 1, 2, 3, 4, and all the negatives, -1, -2, -3, -4. Those are your integers. An easy way to remember this is just no fractions allowed. All right, so an example of a standard form equation would be something like 5x minus 3y equals 10. Notice that this number that's in the A position, the number that's in front of x, is positive. Also notice there's no fractions anywhere in the equation. This is now standard form. So if a question says, let's do an example, write the equation of a line, WEOL, write the equation of a line with m equals 2 and b equals 5 in standard form. In order to write something in standard form, you first need slope-intercept form. So you're first going to write your slope-intercept form answer. Y equals, I'm going to replace the m of 2 into that m position there, keep the x the same, and replace the b value into that b position, so plus 5. This is slope-intercept form. To get to standard form, notice that we need the x and the y on the left-hand side, and this c is our constant. The number that doesn't have a variable at all needs to be by itself on the right-hand side. So right now, the only number that's out of place is this 2x. That 2x needs to move to the left-hand side of the equation. Unfortunately, we can't just move it there. In order to move something from one side of the equation to the other, you do the inverse of it. So this is a 2x. We're going to subtract 2x from both sides. So this will cancel. And then on my left-hand side, I have negative 2x plus y equals 5. It's not standard form yet because of that first rule. The a value must be positive. The number that's in front of the x, which in this case is the negative 2, that needs to be a positive number. So in order to get rid of a negative number, what we're going to do is we're going to multiply the entire equation times -1. -1 times -2 becomes positive, but then you have to do that to everything. -1 times y becomes -y. -1 times 5 becomes -5. This is now standard form. Another easy way to think about this is that if you change the sign of one term from negative to positive, you have to just change the sign of every term. Everything just turns to its opposite. You can use that as a trick as well. This is now in standard form. The a value is positive, and there are no fractions anywhere in the equation. Let's try another one. Example number 2. Let's say that the m value was 2/3. I'm sorry, let's make it negative 2/3. And let's say the b value was negative 4. Write the equation in standard form. We first need the equation in slope-intercept form, so let's do that. That would be slope-intercept form. And now I need to move this x term to the other side. So because it's a negative 2/3 x, I'm going to add 2/3 x to both sides. So then I have 2/3 x plus y equals negative 4. If this step confuses you of adding 2/3 x to both sides, another rule you can remember is that anytime you hop from one side of the equation to the other side of the equation, the number changes its sign. So if you go from the right side and move it to the left side, it will just transform from a negative to a positive, or maybe from a positive to a negative. We can't leave our answer like this because we have a fraction in the problem. So to get rid of the fraction, we're going to again multiply the whole equation by something to change that. In this problem, we multiply by 3. 3 will cancel that denominator with the 2/3 and the fraction will be gone. So 3 times 2/3 becomes 2x and our fraction is gone. If we multiply one of the terms by 3, we have to multiply all of the terms by 3. So 3 times y is positive 3y, and 3 times negative 4 is negative 12. This is my answer in standard form. The a value is positive, and there are no more fractions. Let me show you one more example. Let's say we had y equals 3/5 x plus 2/5. In order to write this in standard form, I'm going to move my x term to the left-hand side. So you can either subtract 3/5 x from both sides, or if you want to take the shortcut, when you move it to the left, it changes its sign. So now we have this equation, and we have two problems with it. Problem number 1, the a value cannot be negative, so we have to get rid of the negative sign. And we've got 2 fractions in the problem, so we have to get rid of the 2 fractions. I'm going to show you how to do this in 1 step, and then how to do this in 2 steps, and you can choose which way you like better. If you would like, you can multiply the whole problem by a number that's going to cancel the negative and get rid of the fractions, and that number would be negative 5. I'm choosing 5 because 5 will cancel the denominators, and I'm making it negative 5 because a negative times a negative would make this first term a positive. So when I multiply this through, I'll get 3x. Notice that the negative is gone and the fraction is gone. But if you multiply one term by negative 5, you have to multiply all the terms by negative 5. So this would be my final answer. Let me show you another option of how to do this in 2 steps. If you want to do this in 2 steps, you can get rid of the negative sign and the fraction separately. Some people just find this less overwhelming. So let's say I want to get rid of the fraction first. If I want to just get rid of the fraction, I would multiply by 5. This will become negative 3x plus 5y equals 2. Now I still have that negative on my a term that I need to get rid of. So I would multiply the whole equation by -1. Or the trick we said before is if you change one sign to its opposite, you have to change all the signs to its opposite. Same answer, it just took 2 steps. So whichever way you prefer, you can choose to do that. Just make sure that you're showing all work.